Hey, what is up, guys? My name is The King Live, and we have done a lot of Omen tutorials on this channel, a lot of Omen guides, so if you're looking for more of that, we are going to be doing that today. We're going to be talking about his blind ability, Paranoia. Now, a lot of people have called this ability useless. Some people have said that they don't even bother buying it, and I'm going to tell you why you are wrong. Oh my gosh, this ability is actually really cool. I've had a lot of really good uses for this, and I'm about to show you in-game. We're gonna load into the game. We're going to talk about Paranoia, like the situations that you're going to use it, how exactly you want to use it, how you can actually blind your targets with it rather than just kind of shooting it past them where it's not gonna do anything. In the situations where this blind will actually be better than other blinds. So if you are interested for that, then stick around. We're going to be talking about that. And also, if you wanted to see any other Omen guides, we have a bunch of them over on the channel, so you can go check those out there. They'll be listed at the end of the video on the channel page as well. We talk about them. We play Omen a lot, so. And if you're just new to the game in general or new to this sort of FPS genre, then we have a ton of other videos on the channel that'll also be helpful to you. We have some gun guides, we have some just like gameplay guides and stuff like that. So be sure to check those out as well. So we've already done a teleport guide and we've done a shroud guide. So today I just wanted to take a look at his other ability, his Paranoia. This is going to be his blind ability. Like I said earlier, some people have actually gone as far to call this ability useless. Some people just don't even buy this ability at all. I think that the reason that people would consider this ability useless, or they might not like it as much, is because it's difficult to use, and I think that people kind of gave up on it early. What I mean by that is when people have these abilities and they use them and they don't see the effect of them, I think that they kind of just give up on it because they're like, well, clearly I used this ability correctly and clearly it didn't hit them, so it just must be bad, you know? But after using it so many times and actually seeing how many people I blinded with it and how many gunfights that it's actually won for me, I can't really call this ability bad, and I really encourage you to use it more and try it out a little bit more. Now, what does this Paranoia ability do necessarily? So when you fire this guy out, it's going to fire off in this direction that you are aiming. It'll go through walls. It'll go in this sort of trajectory. You have to aim it up if you want to hit people above you. So if somebody's sitting on heaven, you're going to have to aim it up like that. It's not just going to hit them. And the thing I wanted to point out primarily is that this ability, the radius on it is a little bit misleading, and I think this is where people might run into trouble with it. Sometimes you use this ability and you feel like you should hit them when it doesn't actually. So I'm going to show you, when you use it right there, you see that's going to hit the edge of her, that'll blind her. If I use it just a little bit over, that's not going to blind her. You really need the center of the blind to actually hit this person to be able to get them with it. So to be blinded in this situation, if they are blinded, they will only be able to see you if you are around this close to them. It's going to treat it as like a smoke grenade, as if this person is smoked off. So when you hit them with a blind like that, this basically reduces their vision pretty much entirely. It's not quite as effective, obviously, as like a Phoenix or a Breach blind, but it's still a very decent ability, and I do recommend that you use this frequently. The cool thing about this is it actually will blind them regardless of if they're facing it or not. So if I come over here and I use this, this will still blind her. Now, keep in mind, your enemies can see this ability, so if I'm using it at her like this, she will get a vision of it, and she'll get time to react to it. You also get like a visual indicator on your screen when this happens. You'll notice on the side of the screen, you can actually see that. If you dodge it, it'll look like that. If you hit them like this, it'll look like that for them. When you get real close, they can see it. Now, if you have somebody like this Jet sitting in this corner right here, which is a very common spot to play on this site, and somebody uses a blind like that, you get very little reaction to this. You kind of have to dip out immediately. If you don't dip out, this is going to result in you very quickly dying. Now, a couple tips for aiming this blind. This does go a fairly long distance, and there are obviously situations in which you're going to want to be using it most primarily, right? If I'm sitting out here in front of this Jet and I want to hit her with this blind, this is going to be a bad idea. She's going to see me. I am already exposed to her. I shouldn't be peeking a Jet like this and firing off my blind and then trying to like go back or like trying to trade with them at that point, right? If I come out here like this, she's literally just going to kill me. Instead, you're going to want to fire this from behind cover, right? So I can fire it right there. That'll hit the Jet. Now I can peek her and I can kill her. I say this in pretty much like every single video. Don't use your utility while you're exposed. If you're using it while you're exposed, you're doing it wrong. This is going to result in you dying. The game has a low time to kill. If I shoot somebody in the head, they die. So don't use it like that. Use it like this. Now, also pay attention to how far this goes. This goes a fairly decent distance. I can blind the Jet from all the way over here. If you notice on the map, that'll go pretty much this entire way. I can blind her from all the way back here. If you have enemies pushing a site or a corridor, this can easily delay them, right? Say we're playing over here on B site defense. If they're pushing this corridor, if they are pushing this, say you have it smoked, you know that they're going to rush this. You know that they're coming through. You don't need to step out here to hit this entire corridor, right? I could use it from right here. That's going to blind anybody who's pushing. Anybody who's pushing this is going to get blinded. I had a clip of me doing this. I blinded everybody who was coming through, and I mowed a couple of those down. This is an ability that a lot of teams don't know how to work against because a lot of teams haven't encountered players who are actually using it and using it correctly at that. You're supposed to use this in situations where you know that this is going to mess up a team. If they need to leave a position, if they're in a position that you know that they are and you could send this blind at them, you can easily mess up their day. Now, another time that you might consider using this ability is if you're sitting like over here or something and you know that they're in CT, you can send that in. That'll easily delay them. And the cool thing about this is they're not going to know where it's coming from. Like we showed earlier, you get an indicator of if it's coming at you, but you don't actually know which direction it's coming from. I could be firing it for you from right here. I could be firing it at you from over here. You can get creative with it. Say that you're playing mid on split here, Omen. You're holding this angle, you're dropping your smokes or whatever, you're making sure they're not pushing this. Oh, they're pushing heaven, they're pushing stairs. Bada bing, bada boom. That's going to fly all the way over into stairs. That'll blind anybody who's pushing up. If you're getting comms from your teammates, if you know that they're in that area, that will at least delay them a little bit, and then you can rotate over here and possibly help your team out. The really cool thing about this spot too is it's about the same height actually from the stairs, so when I fire this through, it's actually going to hit anybody who is on that stairwell. I don't need to aim up, I don't need to do any like crazy like practicing and stuff with this. You just aim straight and you fire this off. Now, against a moving target, obviously this ability isn't always going to be the best, and I'm not saying that this ability is better than a Breach Flash or a Phoenix Flash. But between this ability and Omen's Shroud, I think a lot of people fail to realize that Omen is more of a support character than he is like a hard aggressor. Hard aggressors are going to be people like Jet, people like Raze, people like Phoenix. Omen is more of a support character. He's like a flex character. He can do a lot of different things. If your team is planning on pushing middle and you don't want to have to deal with somebody on the right side, you can smoke this if you need to. This is a useful team ability for you to drop. This isn't a self-service ability. This is a team ability. And the reason that it is a team ability and the reason that I emphasize this is because it's a global ability. We've talked about that in the Omen Shroud video. But beyond that, if somebody's holding this doorway and you need to blind them, you can do that from this distance. That's going to stop anybody from holding this doorway. If they do continue to hold this doorway, they're going to get blinded. Now, with abilities like this, it's also very important to talk about your time of opportunity when you're using it. So a lot of people, when they try to use these abilities, they'll kind of like panic use them. And it will just kind of result in them dying. So when I'm getting pushed as Omen, this is an ability that I need to use quickly. It's a decision that I need to make in that moment. Am I going to use this or am I not? If I wait too long to use it and I go for this while they're pushing me, I'm just going to end up dying. They're just going to end up killing me, right? They'll be around the corner before I can actually get it off. It won't actually blind anybody. I'll end up dying. I think this is less of the ability's fault and more of the time that you chose to use it, right? This is the same thing as if I try to use my teleport ability right here, right? If somebody's pushing me and I try to teleport over onto this side while they're pushing me, they're going to see me while I'm locked in this animation and they're just going to kill me. This is a bad time to use this. Games like Valorant are a lot about the timing and the speed at which that you will make decisions within the game, right? It's a very fast-paced game. It's moving very quickly, and a lot of the times the speed that you make the decision is what's going to result in you making it on time or result in you dying. I talk a lot about this when we're playing with people and we're talking about pushing sites. The moment that you start making entries onto a site, the moment that you start using utility or making noise on a site, that is the moment that the enemy team is calling out that you are doing that. Well, hypothetically, I guess it doesn't always work that way, but right, you can hear footsteps from really far away in this game. If I'm sitting on A heaven and I hear somebody walking around in sewers, I'm going to call that out to my team. Now my team's going to know that people are sitting in sewers. That means that there are people on this side of the map. If they've gotten a little cozier pushing out of B, we know that they're not at B. We know that they are either in sewers, at A, or in mid. With that information, oftentimes people from the B site are going to start rotating, right? This is why I say you need to make decisions quickly and you need to execute these plans quickly. There are definitely times when you play this game slow, but when you're starting a site push, that is not when you play it slow. If you're going to execute a site take, you do it quickly because your utility is only going to last for a little bit of time, especially as Omen. Your smokes are only going to last for around 10 seconds. So if I'm going to be smoking stairs right here, right? And I'm going to be smoking A over here. That's when I got to push in because these smokes are only going to last for a little bit. This is a lot of cover, right? But the longer that we wait, the longer time that it's going to give the enemies to react to this. Soon when these smokes fade, we are back at square one. But not only that, the enemy team has rotated. Now there's more of them here. When you're pushing onto a site at max, there's probably going to be like 3 people, right? If you're able to get 1 or 2 kills while you're pushing onto the site and take it over, now they have 2 people to retake with. But if you wait for somebody to entry and you let these smokes time out and you're sitting back in this area still, this is the time when you rotate out. You've already failed. You failed at the site take. You either execute it or you back off. Those are your decisions. If you don't do either, you're going to die in this area. Now, it is the same exact thing with time of opportunity for abilities. There is either a time for you to use it or a time for you to not. Maybe you have waited too long and it is too late to do that. Your next plan needs to be just outgun them. If I'm sitting right here and they're already pushing around this corner, it's too late for me to throw that blind. It is too late for me. At this point, I'm going to have to engage them with what I have, which is my rifle. So yeah, if I'm trying to use my blind while somebody's already on top of me, yeah, it's going to be a pretty crappy ability, and I'm not going to see a lot of success with it. But if I'm trying to use my blind more methodically and actually thinking about how I'm using it, it's going to result in a lot more damage. That's going to just about do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. I don't have exactly like specific spots to use this ability because there are literally so many of them. I could go through so many. But basically the best advice I could give to you is use this ability to force people out of positions or result in them dying, right? So somebody's hiding like on this side of the wall right here and I need to get rid of them, right? You can just send this blind through and then just come around and kill them, right? Their options are either get blinded in this scenario or peek out and die to the enemies. There are so many ways to deal with enemies hiding in corners in this game. If you are not utilizing them, then you're doing it wrong. Don't just try to outgun everybody when you're playing this game. Use your abilities and play smarter, not harder. Anyway, though, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Like I said, if you're looking for more Omen stuff, we have plenty of it on our channel. We're kind of been one-tricking Omen. It's been a lot of freaking fun. Also, if you made it this far in the video, be sure to drop a like. It really helps us out. And if you're looking to hang out or play games or anything, then you can definitely hop into the Discord. We have a bunch of really awesome people in there. But besides that, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.